Hey everyone, today we are going to be doing a new playthrough of Shapes, it used to be called Shapes IO. It's going to be lightly modded, and hope we'll have some fun. Here are all the mods that I have enabled, just really just quality of life stuff. Yeah, starting the game. So, I have played this game before, and I do know what I'm doing, so it's not really going to be a tutorial per se. Although, if you really have no idea what you're doing in this game, I guess you could learn through here. Although, again, that won't be the primary. Here we are. Level 1. I now have the cutter and the trash building. Now, the left half, the right halves. Pretty cumbersome setup, but what are you gonna do? Alright. There we go. We have something made. I'm gonna place some more mine cutters down just to speed this part up because it's really slow. If you don't know like what like hotkeys I'm using, you can see them, most of them up here. I do have belts set to space, and then splitters and undergrounds set to Q and E. Alright, now we have the upgrade screen. Pretty simple. Just seeing up here. You can upgrade extraction and cutting, rotating, and stacking by using the squares and stars respectively. In fact, we are looking for squares right now. So go get that set up. No real reason I'm getting rid of this, except for getting the hole on circles into our hub, which is this thing, so we can get that upgrade a little quicker. Alright, squares are just up here, and I just want the whole ones, which is pretty easy. No need to use the cutter or anything. Yeah, I mean, we haven't really seen any mods come into play, at least not yet, except for really the note building, which I mean I haven't used yet. No, I usually don't use it, but if I, do need to use a note, I can just do that real quickly. Place it down, type my note, instead of having like a text file on the side of my screen. You guys can't see that, but I do have two monitors. Yeah. This series is going to be a bit boring, just because, like most factory games are boring in the beginning. I don't have the balancer. I should be doing a bit better of a job of, commentating like what this stuff does, but the most factory games are pretty boring in the beginning, just because it's like all automation dependent, and in the beginning of most factory games, that is, you don't have a ton of automation, so it gets pretty boring. What was I going to say? Honestly, not sure. If it comes back to me, I guess I'll say it, but Oh, yes, I remember now. So, um, well, I'm pretty sure most of these buildings are decently, self-explanatory. Like, the cutter cuts things, the trash, deletes anything that goes into it. Um, Belts, just like move items, or shapes and dies, which we'll get to later. Um, but the splitter, which I hope is kind of self-explanatory, but all it does is, say we have like two inputs and two outputs, right? If this input isn't getting anything, and this input is getting a full belt, then it's going to split this full belt into two half belts, or just like, so if we have 10 per second coming in here, it's going to be 5 per second here, and then 5 per second here. Oh, hey, now we have a rotator. Get that later. Yeah, useful key bindings. You guys can see them up here. Anyways, and then same thing happens if like we have this setup, right? These are two half belts, say like 5 items per second. That's not a half belt, but you know what I mean. 5 items per second, they'll go into this belt, and it's going to be a full 10 items per second. And then say we have 5 items per second, 5 items per second, and then it's going to be 5 items per second and 5 items per second. So it just balances like whatever's going into it on either side. I hope that made sense. I'm not the best at explaining things. And if it doesn't, I guess I'll clear up any confusion in the comments. What? Huh? Anyways, now we're just setting up same thing that I kind of had up there, this time with circles. Oh, hey. Not sure about that one. Alright, let's see. So now what we are doing is creating, cutting the, what are they called? The circles. Yeah, cutting the circles, and then we're rotating the outputs, and we're just feeding them into here. And eventually, you'll unlock the tunnels, which, I mean, you just saw down there. Let's see if we can create that. Yeah, there they are. This is one of the mods that I have, and it's the place under, it's like auto place undergrounds. Not really supposed to have them out yet, but like there's no real use for them yet anyways, so it's not really too game breaking, especially because like I have completed the game before the wires update. I've actually completed it since, but I do know what I'm doing, especially for these earlier levels. I'm probably going to be setting up a bus later, or else it's going to be spaghetti. If you don't know what spaghetti is in factory games, it's just like really unorganized and really hard to like pull. There we are. Now we have the tunnel. Anyways, spaghetti is just like really hard to follow belts and production streams and stuff like that. Anyways, now that we have tunnels, we have the main things of 2D factory games, so stuff like Factorio, Shapes, used to be called IO, used to be called Shapes IO. I'll probably mess that up at times. Anyways, yeah, now we have the main staples of 2D factory games. That would be belts, undergrounds, and splitters. So if you play Factorio, these are pretty much the exact same thing. If you haven't, I guess I'll explain. I already explained splitters. I guess I'll explain underground belts. So, how should I explain this? Alright, so we have underground belts. Should be, it's pretty self-explanatory, but if they aren't, I'll explain them real quick. Literally, all they are is that you place them and then items will act like they travel quote-unquote underground. And you can place, other belts up here that carry other items, as you can see here. That's literally it for them. Eventually, when we get different types of belts, we can do something called belt weaving, but I can't really, show that yet because we don't have the other type. Anyways, we are now going to start with the quarter circles. I really am tired. I'm not sure if this is going to be chopped up into different like videos. I'm not actually exactly sure how long this video has been yet. 11 minutes. There we are. Okay, so 11 minutes. That's probably good enough for now. I might do a little bit off camera, a couple levels or two. Actually, no, we're about to get into painting, so probably really just this level, or it's going to show up in the next video. Anyways, but yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.